loved Magicka. Not magic, what the? Multiplication spell! I loved Magicka. And now this is the sequel to Magicka. Magicka was a great game. Actually, it's technically a sequel to Wizard Wars, but we'll cover that in a little bit. Magicka was a great game in that it did something different, okay? You now are combining spells to make spells. And it had a sense of humor and everything that made you just laugh. I mean, you didn't just scratch your head, but you had to laugh about it because it was a lot of fun. But now here we are with Magicka 2, learning how to spell. And the question on your mind has to be, does this measure up to the original game? Well, obviously we'll find out in a moment, but don't forget, by the way, support link below helps us out a little bit, mitigate some of the cost of the reviews, right? Anyway, Magicka 2. The story is that Loke, this little girl, is the child of destiny. Will she be the light side? Will she be the dark side? Will she be the Vader and combine both? Ha ha ha! So that's the story in a nutshell, and I'm actually impressed because the way the game turned out wasn't a sharp like, but the way it turned out was actually was a good twist. It's not unpredictable, but it was a good twist. So as far as Loke's destiny goes, you are the wizard who is meant to make sure she is on the path of the right side, right? And obviously wizards are hated, by the way, in this universe, especially since in the previous Magicka games, you went through destroying everything. Get fire, burn it all down, yeah! And that's actually, the magic is the strong part of this game. Not only is it why people are hating them, because they always abuse their magic, but it's the strong part of this game. Like before, you take your 8 spells, your 8 elements, and by combining them, you can actually make more spells. I mean, it's not just as simple as, hey, I tap this one, I get, like, say, maybe a fire blast or something like that. But then fire plus rock equals meteor. But if you combine your spells, you can even get thunderstorms, you can get birds. I know the birds sound funny, but they're actually very useful. And so there's a variety of spells in the game, even new elements like, now there's poison. Poison wasn't there before, but it's something new where if you combine arcane and water, I don't get it, but hey, sure. It used to be arcane and water would do an arcane, like, spell that you could blast them and make them super wet. Now, it's different. Different is good. So I like the combining a spell system, but they've also taken a step further. Now, something I hated about Magicka, the original, yes, it's 4 players local, but the original release of it had you doing Street Fighter movements on the right stick to cast spells, and that sucked. So if you wanted to, like, say, cast a lightning tongue, right? So it's lightning plus arcane. You'd have to press over, then roll it down, and then up and roll it left. And you should be like doing junk like that all the time, which was annoying because you're sitting there and you're like, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't have to keep roll it, and do all these Street Fighter motions to get it. That made the game hard to play. They fixed it. Somebody at Paradox listened. Bravo! So the way Magic works now is it's actually on the face buttons. And so you have your base spells, and then when you hold the left shoulder button, that'll switch between the alternate spells. And so, like, fire and ice are on the same one. You hold it, you get ice. You don't let it go, you get fire. Sweet, that actually works. That works pretty well because water and lightning are opposites, healing and arcane are opposites, and then fire and ice are opposites. Now, the only 2 that aren't are rock and shield. Earth and shield are not opposites, but hey, they work together, so what are you gonna do, right? So this makes whipping out your spells a whole lot easier. The only problem I had is sometimes I'd forget I was holding the button because I was just too into the game, and so I cast the wrong spell on myself. So instead of, when I'm wet, instead of like drying myself off with a fire blast, I all of a sudden freeze myself up, and it's like, no! Screwed myself. The game itself, though, plays well. A lot of casting options. I really don't know what more I can say about the Magic. The Magic just works this time, and it's better if you play it with a keyboard, and at the same point in time, though, you can play it very comfortably with just a controller. So either way, your controls have been improved. But now, the game itself is short. The original Magicka title, by the time you got to the first 6 chapters, by the way, were all caps on Star Wars. But by the time you got to the 6th, which was like, what was it? Return of the Magician or something like that. You beat that one, and that's like your 6th hour in the campaign, and then it starts all over, and it sends you through more battles and stuff like that. And so the original one actually took a good 15 or so hours to beat. This game, I beat it in about 8 hours. So I would say that you could probably slim campaign down to about 6. It really is shorter. It's shorter. It's not too short for what you're paying for, but it's definitely a shorter game, favoring more the DLC. So they're going to want you to actually buy more to extend it. Or you can always replay the game multiple times to try and extend your play. I'm not saying it's not a bad game for a replay, but I'm saying it's 6 hours, though. At 6 hours, it's kind of your hit spot. I mean, for an indie title, for a game that's actually from a smaller developer, not bad. But at the same point in time, the end of the game, I felt like the game just could have been longer. They could have actually added more to the story, and they just cut it off a little too soon. This comes to another part of the game that don't get me wrong, I have complaints about this game because I loved it, not because I really want to destroy anyone at Paradox. And Magicka it wasn't as funny. It wasn't as funny. They make Pokemon references, but it's like you see the joke coming a mile away, and it wasn't very clever. The jokes in the first one were clever. I mean, they had a guy standing somewhere, and he had the little quest marker above his head. And so he tells you at one point, hey, I have to figure out how to get this stupid exclamation point off my head. And I laughed because I'm like, that's so true. But at the same time, though, Magicka 2, it's like they used all their good jokes in the first one, and now in the second one, they just didn't know what to do to make it funnier. And so I'm sitting here, and I'm enjoying the game, but the humor's not there, so what do, right? So the question is always, if this is the right game for you. I enjoyed Magicka. I actually got it on a nice Steam sale, about $3 or something like that. So Magicka 2, definitely for the price. I mean, I nailed it right. But on average, though, it generally goes for about $15 to $20. And $15 to $20 worth, it's kind of hard for me. Kind of hard because I expect a game to last. If I'm going to pay $20 for it, I expect it to last a little bit more than a simple 6 hours. My preference, it's not a bad game. It's not a great game. Control-wise, it's better than the first one. But overall, content for what you're getting, and I have all the DLC for the original, but if you look at the base game itself, though, I had a lot of fun with the original. Had a good amount of fun with this one, but just there wasn't as much there. I expected more from a sequel. So, all that to say, I do think Magicka 2 is worth your time. I just don't think it's one that you should put at the top of your list. Of course, there's the morality aspect of it, and this game is filled with jokes and it's filled with stuff. So what do you got here? You're obviously using magic, sorcery, and stuff like that. You have issues with that. That's always going to be something that in a game like this, in any fantasy setting, you may not want your kids playing. All the mythological creatures and stuff like that, the trolls, don't feed them. Actually, someone forgot to, according to the game. Issues, may not want your kids playing it. Finally, of course, there's the issue of the blood and gore. Because if you hit enemies with the right spells, and they're gone. And so that is something that, hey, beware. it's in the game. If you have a sensitive stomach or this is the kind of thing you want to keep from your kids, obviously you want to play it. Now, I'm playing here on the on the Steam version. There's also a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One version of this game. So keep in mind though that what I'm seeing here may be tweaked for those versions as well, but overall they generally just port things. So I say we're pretty safe here though. Any rate though, what are your thoughts? I want to hear, have you played Magicka 2? What do you think from the review so far? Does this look like a game you want? Comments below as always. Don't forget the support link, that helps us out. And we look forward to seeing you next time with our next review. Thanks for watching.